Hello and welcome. It's Thursday again, and it's a big pleasure to have Dawn Davies with me from the Whisky Exchange. Dawn, how is life?
Well, I have to say that is the best intro ever. I need to steal that intro. I was like, my God, it's like a rock star. Awesome.
No, come on.
Brilliant. Fire, pyrotechnics. I'm there. Awesome.
You need fire. You need fire to distill. Distilling is the essence.
I like it. I like what you've done there. I am a fan. I am that intro. I think that's the best intro of Zoom virtual or like virtual blah blahs of 2020.
Thank you.
I look forward to do that now.
Gorgeous. Yes, Dawn, may I ask you to introduce yourself to our German language listeners?
So I am the crazy person that is in charge of all the buying at the Whisky Exchange, specialty drinks, but I also run the events team in the shops. So I am basically the general dog's body at the Whisky Exchange, which is probably the best way of putting it.
Wow, that's a very short but very impressive introduction from yourself. We used to chat together if it's not locked down for the International Wine and Spirits competition, and I got to know you as a MW, which means you're a master of wine. So you started your career with wine.
Yeah, so and I have a glass of wine with me now because I've actually just finished a wine tasting for TWE with some really wonderful customers, which was really fun. So yeah, I started off in restaurants. I was a sommelier for almost 10 years. Worked with amazing people like Gordon Ramsay, Zuma. I opened Zuma. Of course, the Ledbury, which was my favorite, with Brett. I ran and managed the Ledbury for 2 years. And then I joined Selfridges as their wine buyer, and that's when I actually came into spirits because I was their wine and spirits buyer. And I guess that's when I kind of was like, I'm still doing a lot of wine, they're very heavy wine, but I just really started to get into spirits then. And I was super lucky to have people like Dave Broom mentor me on the whiskey side, Sakinda, of course, who I now work for. Amazing people like Richard Patterson, who is like, I love that man so much. Who actually really got me so into spirits and really kind of just gave me that kind of excitement for it. Ryan Chetty as well. They really were like, there's this whole world that opened up to me at Selfridges. And then kind of left Selfridges. I was doing my Master of Wine at the same time, passed in 2015, and decided to join a spirits company in 2015. So essentially passed my MW and stopped doing wine. But we do a lot of wine now still. So we do a lot with champagne. We have a champagne show. I have one of the biggest ranges online of champagne. And now a lot more wine, especially since lockdown.
Cool. I mean, commonly you're either wine or spirits. And usually the wine people are not the one to convert to the dark side. So you got pushed into it, or was there a laugh as well?
No, not at all. I love taste and I love flavor and I love learning. And actually, the more I learn about wine and spirits, and for those of you who know Maggie Campbell of Privateer Rum, both me and her share this kind of dark side, light side kind of thing, because Maggie started with wine. Maggie is sort of doing her MW at the moment, but is also in distillation and things. And it was so funny. We did a tasting the other day together, and we were geeking out about shit on both sides because, like, yeast is still super relevant for distillation or for winemaking. Barrels and oak, hugely important for both. I remember having a debate for about 1.5 years with Dave Broom on what lactobacillus did for winemaking and spirit production. And so there's so many overlaps, and it's really interesting. Sulfur is something I'm very interested in at the moment in spirits. And Dr. Bill and I were talking about that literally last week. And there is such a huge overlap, and I think the more I learn about spirits, the more I realize how similar or close it is to wine. You think of you think of mezcal, and I think terroir. I think of Tahan, I think terroir. You know, there is such a huge overlap. It's just so I kind of figure that even though I have kind of gone to the dark side, I'm still very much in the light.
Of course, you are very much in the light. No, and I just recognized. I joined the Concours Mondial Brussels, which is mainly a wine competition. And at that time, in the 2000s, the spirit went with the wine. So you had about 140 wine judges and possibly 30 spirits judges. And in the evening, when the wine judges smiled, they had all yellow teeth or purple teeth.
I have purple teeth now.
And I can remember, you know Bernhard Schäfer as well. Yeah. So we've been together at those competitions, and we visited a vineyard. And we stood around, and it was in France. It was quite elected, and we got we get a sample of spirits, but with wine. And all the journalists around stood around and looked at the glass and swirled and smelled and discussed. And Bernhard looked at the glass and whoop, gone. So, one of the wine judges looked at us and said, "Oh yes, I can clearly see you're the spirits judge." There are some differences between wine and spirits people, indeed.
And you know, it's really funny because the one thing I really want to do, and the one thing I've been really challenging our company to do a lot, and people I know in my former industry or my industry I'm still in, is, you know, I don't want to go to a restaurant and drink bad spirits, but 90% of the time you do. But in the same way, I don't want to go to a bar and drink bad wine. And there's absolutely no reason for it. And the more I kind of talk to people, the more I'm trying to get people, especially in the UK, to really say, you know what, if I'm so proud of the spirit range I have, why would I not have a nice wine to drink, even if it's not my priority, or a great champagne, you know? And it's really, really interesting, especially with champagne. We've done a huge amount of work on champagne in the UK with bartenders. And, you know, it's so nice now. And like I have Eric Lorenz and Stefano Quaint going, "Oh my God, we just tried this champagne. It's amazing." Or Declan, this boy, like so into growers' champagnes. And I'm like, yes. And equally so, you know, my wine people starting to come to me and say, you know, I really want a really good rum list. So Nailina High Timber, which is an amazing South African restaurant, she was like, "Can you just do me a list? Give me some spirits that are good." And I was like, "Oh yeah, girl, here you go." So, you know, it's been really, really nice to kind of have that bridge and be able to kind of talk on both sides, but about the things I'm passionate about to the other. And, you know, I keep on saying, you know, one step forward every day, try and convert one more person in wine to spirits and try and convert one more person in spirits to wine. So
looking at your Facebook, I think you just got awarded for your Spain
yes, so
range.
So we won last year. We won Champagne Retailer of the Year for Decanter last year, and this year we came as runner-up. But Waitrose came first, so I don't feel too bad against coming number 2 to a massive ball.
So, congratulations for that.
Thank you.
You told us how you came into wine, and that obviously Richard was one of the key persons to bring you into spirits. But how far was the mileage to become head buyer of the Whisky Exchange? I mean, it's quite a huge thing.
Oh, and it was really funny actually how it happened. So I remember when I joined Selfridges, as I said, I didn't really know anything about. I'd always liked spirits, you know, even when I was working, because, you know, I opened Zuma back in the day, and Zuma had an amazing spirit list, and I used to always go to the bartender, and that was when you know, certain brands, I won't name any of them, were actually good in those days. I used to go to the bartender and I used to be like, "Oh, can I try that? Can I try that?" And I was always asking questions. And so when I went to Boxwood, I actually was really curated about my spirits list. For someone in wine, I actually did pay attention to the spirits list there. And same in when I went to the Ledbury, you know, we had the best that I knew of the best. So, and when I went to Selfridges, I was already interested in spirits. I already kind of had an innate idea that I knew that it was great quality out there, and I was already engaged in it. And one of the first things I did, I was like kind of just Googling around, because I like to kind of see what's out there and stuff. And I came across this Whisky Exchange website, and I was like, they have some interesting product. This looks kind of quirky. This is kind of interesting. And then I kind of was like, so I kind of reached out to specialty drinks at the time. And I remember Adriana, who's one of our guys still, came to see me, and he came with Sekinda. And this was really, really early on. So Sekinda visiting kind of accounts when they're first sort of being opened. And, you know, Adriana said to me, I said, look, just bring what you want. Bring what you think will be interesting to me. And let's go from there. You know, I'm an open book. Let's try. And apparently, Sekinda was all grumpy in the beginning of the meeting, because apparently they'd been to Selfridges several times, and every time they'd be like, no, there's nothing we want to take from you. And so Sekinda was like, oh yeah, I'm going to sit here and some idiot's going to tell me again that my product crap and they don't want it. And I picked, and I think I want to say it was probably Tapatia was one of the first things I tried. I think it was Tapatia or Nika or one of those. And I was like, I really like this. This is really interesting. Let's talk about it. And suddenly Sekinda just came alive. And you know, if you know Sekinda, he's one of these people that if you engage him, bam, you know, and actually what was really interesting from that moment on, we became really, really, really good friends. You know, we're best friends. You know, we're very, very close. And it was quite funny, because then we sort of spent time kind of going out together, just drinking and going to bars and just exploring. And I remember I used to go to Whisky Show all the time. Sekinda used to take me around. Me and Ryan and Dave Broom used to go around with Sekinda and like be like, yeah, taste this, taste this, taste this. And you know, we always joked that we wanted to do something together. And we just couldn't quite figure out what the first plan that we were going to do. We were going to take over Vinopolis, because that's where our old shop was. And we were going to open the best wine and spirits academy in the world. And we were going to have like a visitor center and you know, we had this absolutely awesome plan. And sadly, then it went to a real estate thing and we couldn't quite make it. And then, you know, I kind of was talking to Sekinda and he goes, why don't you come in for a chat? And I was like, okay, fine, I'll come in. And I live quite close to the office. I came in, and him and Rajbir, his brother, who I've also been really good friends with for a very long time, we just sat and they were like, what do you think about being our head buyer? And I was like, you've never had a buyer. Is that not going to be difficult for you too? And you know, one thing led to another, and here I am 5 years later, and now they regret every second of it, because I'm like, no.
It looks like you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have to love what you do. I think we do long enough hours and we do hard enough work that if we didn't love it, then we wouldn't be able to cope.
I just came across a post from Tobias where he stated, that was a post towards you. Working in the spirits industry is not seen as work, something like that. And I thought,
yeah,
oh, goodness me.
Like a really crazy day, and I think I posted something. And he's so sweet. He's such a star. Love to ask, but yeah, you know, we work hard. You know, but we do it because we're passionate and we want to have the best thing, and you know, hence why I've decided to do a week-long whiskey show where we have over 200 tastings, and it's probably going to be the biggest whiskey show in the world, but virtually, sadly.
we get to that in a moment. So the Whisky Exchange is quite an institution, and it all started from a high street shop to what it is now. And I followed you quite briefly on Facebook, so you must have been one of the busiest persons on planet during lockdown.
Oh, honestly,
you did 24 hours things.
I mean, and this was the thing, you know, we celebrated our 20th anniversary last year, so it just kind of finished now. And, you know, I look at how the brothers built this business, and it's nothing less than incredible. You know, when I joined, we had 70 people working here, and that was quite big at the time. Now we have over 200, and that's in 5 years. So we've done so much groundwork, and you know, and I think it's an incredibly inspirational company to work for, in terms of yeah, we work hard, but we've got some of the best people in the business here. You know, Billy Abbott, who knows more about any spirit in the planet than anyone. I mean, the guy's a walking encyclopedia. We've got you know, such an amazing back of house team in terms of our tech team, in terms of our design team. It's incredible. We've got Ollie Chilton, who does all our blending and who does our bottling selections, and who does Portiskeag and all our elements of Isla stuff and Black Tot. You know, we've got such an incredible group of people, and I think there's no other business I know that has so much expertise under one roof. And you can ask us a question from wine to Baiju, and someone will be able to answer it. And that's rare. And even in my shops, you know, my shop guys are incredible. Their knowledge is insane. You know, Duncan in our Covent Garden shop is like encyclopedic. Whiskey, it's crazy. Pete, my guy over in Great Portland Street, ask him anything about gin. Done. It's fantastic. There's just such a wealth of knowledge in the business, and I think that really kind of comes across to the customers, which is fabulous. But lockdown was crazy. You know, we had to shut the shops pretty quick, and we only just opened London Bridge, so we'd been open in London Bridge maybe in 2 months. And I remember walking in going, guys, we've got to shut. You know, that's it. Yeah, God. And then of course the on-trade started to shut down, and I think all of us were like, what are we going to do? You know, everyone started to work from home, and I've been here the whole time because I can walk here or drive. And it was, I think, 5 of us in the office. My other buyer, Assis, who's amazing, and me, and then Raj Beer and Sakinda, and Jay, our tech guy, and then maybe a couple of other people. And of course the warehouse. But the warehouse was skeleton staff. Yeah. You know, we weren't allowing anyone in the office that couldn't get here by either walking or being in a car with someone that they were in their same household, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly, I remember coming into work and we were checking the sales, and I was like, did we just sell 1,000 cases of Fever-Tree? I'm like, then I was like, how have I sold 100 bottles of Buckfast? What is this? I mean, we were looking at it by the hour, and we were ordering by the hour. You know, we were just like, we don't know what we're doing. Suddenly, my wine sales went through the roof. I sold like 2 pallets of Malbec. I was like, get more cheap wines. I was like, I pulled in all these samples. I got like 60 wines online in a week and a half. I think it was. I've worked hard and I've opened some pretty crazy ass restaurants. I've never seen anything like this. It was super challenging, but at the same time, then you're thinking, okay, how do I maximize sales? How do I still talk to my customers when I can't do cognac show, when I can't do, you know, tastings in stores? So we were like, okay, let's go virtual. And, you know, like honestly, I've never had to move so fast in my life. We were so agile, and we were just like, let's just do it. I was just like, okay, I'm throwing the rule book out, and we're just going to do it. It's a JFDI situation. And I was working, I mean, crazy hours. I was packing in the warehouse. Like, I was down with the guys on the weekend. Like, they were like, you need to go faster. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Anyone that received a broken bottle over the first couple of months, that was me.
Okay, fair enough. So you already said part of your job is being head of the Whisky Show. And Whisky Show goes virtual, obviously, because you can't host it in real life. Yeah. How much of the experience you had within the last month went into the Virtual Whisky Show? Is it coming out of all the experience you had within the last month?
Oh, I mean, honestly, so, you know, when we were kind of a month or so into lockdown, I made the decision to keep Whisky Show physical because we just didn't know. But I said, okay, I want to hedge my bets. So I'm going to take it virtual as well as physical. Because if anything then happens, I still have this other platform. So we started investigating very, very early on different platforms to use, because we just knew like the sort of simple platforms that everyone was using wasn't quite what we wanted. You know, I think Zoom and StreamYard are fantastic. They're great for doing things like this, but it wasn't quite what we wanted for Whisky Shows. So we started researching platforms. We found a platform called Hopin, which wasn't so complicated that you needed an avatar to walk around. I mean, honestly, I did some demos where it was like, I kept on bumping into stuff because I had no clue how to move my avatar. You know, and I was like, I can't imagine half my whiskey dudes like being like moving their avatar around, you know. I was like, this isn't gonna happen. And, you know, Hopin was a really nice combination of both. So Hopin's an amazing platform. We have stages. We have a main stage, which is what we'll own over the week. You can have session stages where the different brands can come in and do things, and then you can have exhibitor stands. So you can actually physically go onto your exhibitor stand and you can talk to whoever's there as if you would normally, like this. You just ask to request to go live. You can go either in the chats, but at the same time, you can also kind of go in kind of a, like, in physically, not physically, you know, like, so pop in and actually be face to face like this. And it just ended up being so much more of a kind of sort of more engaging and more realistic, I guess, platform, because we could do a lot of the same things that we could do on physical. And what was quite interesting, so when I realized that I couldn't do physical anymore, I just got to the point, it was just, with all the lockdowns, with all everything going on, it was just, I don't want to put customers in danger. That was never my desire. I wanted to kind of keep the spirit of our industry going, and that's why we tried to go as far as we could with physical. And then it just got to the point we couldn't. And for virtual, my idea was to stream a lot live from the show, but also run a little bit longer and do a couple of sessions that were more kind of tasting sessions. So I started talking to Dave Broom quite early on, because Dave and I are great mates, and we were doing a lot of Zoom drinking over lockdown. And, you know, we kind of batted around a few ideas, and Dave was kind of quietly interested. You know, we were kind of talking a lot about kind of what we could do. And the minute I realized I couldn't go physical, I was like, okay, right. We were going to have 30 packs, tasting packs, for virtual / physical. 30. And 10 talks with those packs. So we started talking, and Dave was like, I'm on board. I'm going to, you know, I'll co-host with you. So it's me, Billy, and Dave co-hosting all the talks. It was when I sat with Dave and Billy and did the scheduling. Well, I did the scheduling, and I announced the scheduling to them. Yes, on Tuesday. We have for us only, for TWE only, we have about 70 talks and tastings between the three of us.
I saw. I mean, looking at the guest list is like the who is who lineup of the industry.
But it's insane, you know. Like, I just kept on asking people, you know, and I was just like, and the guys kept on just saying to me, just stop doing packs, stop doing packs. I have a sign on my office door that says no more packs. You know, we've sent over 3,000. We've got over 30,000 perfect measure bottles done, ready to go. I mean, we're so close to getting it done. Our poor bottler had meltdown. I feel so sorry for him. Hence why I'm a little delayed on getting all my packs live. And then all the talks, and then the brands started doing stuff, and the brands have been incredible. I mean, some of the sessions they've come up with, I am so excited. I wish I could watch everything, but I can't. You know, like quiz nights, to getting some of the best distillers in the planet live, you know, like everything. I mean, it's insane. We have over 200 talks and tastings now.
Between the 2nd and 9th October, we didn't talk about that. So it's starting on the 2nd and ends a week later.
And I do believe we'll have to repeat it, because we have so much content that I can't possibly fit it in. And some of them are repeats, you know, some of them will repeat throughout the week, and we're recording everything. So, you know, we will be able to offer that. And you know, the great thing is it's £20 for a ticket, and you don't even need to buy a tasting set. I mean, these are kind of the examples of some of the tasting sets we're selling. So the ticket to go onto the platform, listen, and there's so much content.
So that $20 is per masterclass, or for all the?
For access to the show for the whole entire time, £20. Wow. That's it. That gets you in, and you can listen to anything you want. There's no restrictions on what you can listen to. So even if you don't have a tasting pack and you still want to learn about worm tubs, you can go listen to Dave talking about worm tubs, even if you don't have a pack.
Do you still send out packs? Are there still packs available?
So if you want a pack, you can go onto the TWE website, the Whisky Exchange website, and you can buy your packs. Now, if you have a virtual ticket, you get £10 off those packs.
Okay.
So, you know, buy your virtual ticket, you get a little promo code that gets sent to you, you buy your packs. And there's also some exclusive packs that are only available to show holders, so for example, we're doing a Johnny Walker tasting for their 200th anniversary. And Normally, that perfect measure pack would cost around £300. We're doing it for £99. Balvenie ton, £75 to taste 6 of the tons from different years. We're doing an old and rare masterclass where Sakin is going to teach you how to invest in whiskey blind. Dave and I are doing a blind battle where we're going to put your palates to the test and see how good you are as tasters. We have amazing sessions. So Serge and I are talking about how to score and assess whiskey. I've got, oh my God, I think it's insane. Bill and I are talking about the new release from them. I'm just about to say it, I'm not sure I'm allowed. Mickey Heads, the day after he retires, is coming to do his last tasting for our event.
Wow, that's incredible.
Mickey Heads, you know.
So it's
Richard Patterson, Greg Glass, they're doing Handing the Baton Over, you know, talking about how that transition is going to happen.
So it seems this is an absolute must be at.
If you even vaguely like whiskey,
yeah, you need to be there.
The content is insane. The content's insane. I mean, and that's coming from me. I've been to so many shows and done. I've run so many shows. I'm looking at this going, Dave Brum turned around and goes, I think this is the best whiskey show I've ever seen. And you know,
like the PAX International as well, I guess, or is it only UK?
No, anyone can come. Anyone can come. And you know, the PAX, we send PAX out to 6 different countries. If you are in America and some of the further afield, you need to be ordering kind of now just to ensure a rising time. But the great thing is, you know, we've got content from morning to evening, and we'll be doing a lot of recording of those sessions and replaying them. So even if you're in Japan, or even if you're in America, or even if you're wherever you are, you can still watch. And you know, if there is one that you specifically want to watch that you know you can't get, we're really more than happy once that recording's done to kind of send that on to you if you're a ticket holder. So it just can't, it's £20. It's the cheapest thing out there, and the content is just so insane. If you do one thing this year,
this is the thing to go to. £20, save your tickets, order the packs. Is there a deadline for the packs?
Is there, sorry?
Is there a deadline for the packs to be sent out?
If you're in the UK, it's super easy because we can deliver next day or 5 working days. If you're overseas, it's a little bit longer. So you just need to kind of build that in. So all our packs will be live by Monday, bar one, because I've got a special releases pack, and Diageo have been a bit slow on getting the special releases to me. So I need to get them to the bottler and back. But
don't name names.
And it's just, I'm super proud of my team. They've done an absolutely awesome job. I've got the best team in the world, and I'm so excited for what the brands have done. The brands have been incredible. You know, hands up. You know, these guys have really, really pulled it out the bag, and I just couldn't ask for more supportive companies behind us. You know, they've done an awesome job. Awesome job. I mean, and fun. You know, we're doing a whiskey and popcorn pairing. We're doing a rum and popcorn pairing. Probably the 2 best pairings I've ever done in my life. I'm so proud of them. We've got rum as our guest spirit. So we've got Joy from Appleton, who I love talking to. Luca, of course, because no show would be complete without Luca and Richard Seal. You know, talking about the new color of rum with Daniele Biondi and Angelo Casena, who Mavelier guys. Doing Black Tot, we're bringing sugarcane and champagne back. So any of you that watch Black Tot 24 Hours, Mitch and I are back in action. It's amazing we're talking after doing 24 hours straight with each other.
So, I mean, as a boss, you always do your figures ahead of the event. And any expectations? How many people will join?
You know what? I'd really love to see 1,000 people. I'd really love to see 1,000 people. We are currently standing at 450, not including trade. So
there is still some time to go.
Trade will go up. I've already got about 100 trades. So I think we'll get close. I'd like to get really close. I'd like to get on the money. You know, for me, I want to bring the world of whiskey together. I think we all need that now. I think we need a little bit of kind of fun and lightheartedness and conversation and chats. And, you know, I know.
Fingers crossed you succeed that number.
Oh, I hope so. Guys, please support.
Commonly, the Whisky Show is held live in London. For how long is the Whisky Show running?
So we celebrated our 10th year of Whisky Show 2 years ago. So 11th this year, and this would have been our 12th. And you know, it's grown. Now we started off in near Billingsgate. I can't remember where the first one was held. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? And then we were in Binoculars for a while, and then we went to Billingsgate, which is huge. So now the physical is, we have about 3,000 people over the days we hold it. And we have, last year we had over 900 drams to taste, and we had over 110 suppliers. So I thought last year was my best one, but I think I might have outdone myself this year.
Okay, so you have in real life more visitors than you expect now for the online version?
Yes, in real life, yes, and we get from all over the world. So you know, it's really one of those kind of bringing together, and it's great. You know, I love, and that's what I'm going to miss so much. You know, I love going around and seeing all of my customers that we have year on year. That they're friends now. It's super nice.
But I just wanted to get back to that. You said from all over the world. Don't you think this year, when it goes virtual, you might have more international visitors than ever?
I would hope so, you know, and that's kind of what we're trying to get out there, and we're trying to talk to as many people as we can all over the world, because actually this is the one year that I can go global at a really, really amazing scale. And you know, the more people that give us a bit of love and get the name out there, and we've got, actually already we can see who's buying the packs and we can see who's coming. So we've got people from Brazil, we've got people from Israel, we've got people from America, we've got people from Japan. You know, it's been really Australia. You know, it's been really, really nice to kind of see, because of course we have the data that shows us who's buying where. And I think, you know, truly whiskey is such a global thing, and more so now with all these new distilleries popping up. I'm so excited. I'm doing a panel with the guys from Thompson's in New Zealand, which for me is one of the most exciting whiskeys I've tasted this year. Thai from Denmark, again, incredible liquid. And Gospel in Australia. So you know, this is so exciting. I'm like, Helsinki guys, they're around. Like, I'm waiting, I'm ready. I have to do a lot of research, because I have to do 30 talks, and whiskey's not my strength. Rum's my strength.
So you do that after your daily 24 hours, the research?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Well, commonly I ask the question, so what's coming up next? And we already had backstage talked about it. There is no event anymore coming up this year, no banquet, no introduction ceremonies of the Gin Guild. What's coming up next? Are you going to have some days off after this incredible show? Or?
No, I've got to do champagne show.
No, really?
Yes. Champagne show goes virtual the end of October, the first weekend of November. And then it's Christmas, and you know, I'm in the shops at Christmas. I spend time in the shops always, because they're my crew as well. So as we say, there's no rest for the wicked. And I do, apparently.
You go on talks with champagne. That sounds quite interesting.
Champagne is fabulous, you know. I'm happy to do champagne.
Absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for this insight. Hopefully we get some more people joining you from the German language areas if they watch this. And I'm looking forward to seeing you somewhere soon in real life, Dawn.
Absolutely. And in a glass.
Well, as I said, I'm in a cloister. I had already some 65 rums today. I'm quite happy being sober at the moment. So thanks very much for joining. And
thank you.
Fingers crossed, all the best for your show. Thank you very much.
You take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.